Welcome to another epic Town Hall 13 5 versus 5 war. We have two powerhouses of the Clash of Clans community, Team Queso versus J'Off. They are battling out of different named clans, but this is all part of the Elite Warrior United. Now in round 1, J'Off won 14-10. Meanwhile, Team Queso won their match 13-11. So both had amazing victories, a high proportion of 3-star attacks, so we are in for a good one. You're going to see every attack, so let's dive into the first one. It is Boom, former member of Tribe Gaming, battled out in Germany for the Clash of Clans World Championships. He is kicking off this war. A new member of J'Off. He's always kind of been a member, but moved across from Tribe Gaming to J'Off full time. So here we go. It looks like he is sticking with his bread and butter in terms of the lava loon, and the Sui Lalo is what Boom has a specialty in. Definitely difficult with the new defenses, but the Queen is going to snipe off one of the scatter shot early on and also get the Giga Inferno tower in that of the Town Hall. So that is huge. We are seeing this entering the meta in terms of an ice golem to help protect the Royal Champion, and she is going to wipe out an air defense, the multi-inferno, and almost gets in towards that Eagle Artillery. Gets it about 50% down, so a very nice start here in terms of a Sui method. And you can notice the air sweepers, 1 point to the northeast and 1 point to the northwest. Southwest and northwest, sorry, got that wrong guys. The lava loon can come in from the northeast, and we have a straight path right the way through the base. All expos are grounded as well, trying to defend against the ground meta. The Yeti, which are getting that balance change announced today, guys. Beautiful stuff here. Fantastic base identification to take advantage of that. We've only got a single Inferno on the back end, and Boom has a tremendous amount of loons. He's going to wipe out this base. Grand Warden's ability still to be used. Freezes the Queen and just powers through with the balloons. Forgets about the enemy Queen. He's got too much force to deal with it. Grand Warden's ability goes off. I believe that was probably the automatic ability. The savior here for Boom. He's got absolutely everything. Imagine a level 70 Queen left standing and Larlord right over the top of it. Not a care in the world. Boom able to wipe out this base in fashion, taking advantage of all grounded expos, the exposed Town Hall and Scattershot. I love the attack. We told you this was going to be a high scoring war. Both teams got massive amounts of 3 stars in round number 1. Boom finishing this one off with 30 seconds to spare. I love it. Get some hype for Boom down below, but let's see what Team Queso can do on response. Hybrid attack it is. Miners, Hog Riders, reactions of Team Queso is looking to battle back here, get a 3-star and equal Team Queso in this war. They don't want to slip too far behind. J'Off managed to get 14 stars in round number 1, so they will be looking to beat that and get the perfect 15 within this one. Let's see if Team Queso can keep them under pressure. The wall breakers actually lure the clan castle troops here, which is a nice touch. Allows the Queen to take them out, just out of range of defenses, especially when you have ice golems. Typical for the current meta. Basically, it is trying to slow down the Queen, trying to burn up time so you maybe time fail, but also freeze your Queen so she can take huge amounts of damage. So whilst Boom of J'Off, who did get the 3-star, can he get the defense? Manages to slow down the Queen, burns a little bit of time, no real damage, but a rage spell is used in preparation of the extra defenses coming up, but also just to speed this process down to the southwest. He wants this done so that the miners and Hog Riders can start to come in. Now the King is used over by the Barbarian King on defense. Always nice to do that in terms of setting up your funnel, but look at this single Inferno locking onto the Queen, has to use a freeze spell, and now sends in the Hog Riders and the Miners, trying to get that single early enough, has to burn the second freeze, and then the Hogs and Miners will deal with that, but no freeze for the Eagle or the Scattershot. I'm pretty sure that Team Queso would have been looking at that area as a very valuable area for the freeze. Not to worry, manages to get through that due to the Grand Warden's ability, but there is still a lot of splash. Luckily, the Hogs and Miners are in the center of the base. That is exactly what you want. This is looking very good for Team Queso as they start to split towards the back end. The Royal Champion's ability still surviving. If the Multi-Infernos and Wizard Towers go down, it is a certain 3-star, meaning we have a double 3-star to kick this one off. And whilst we told you it would be exciting, I didn't quite think it would be this exciting. 3-star after 3-star. Team Queso battling back, telling J'Off that this one is not going to be a walk in the park. They are going to have to battle if they want the victory versus the team who placed 3rd in the World Championships. Team Queso letting us know they are ready for Town Hall 13, and now we have a battle on our hands. Sir Iron wanting to get another 3-star. This is fantastic. I always love to see the variety of attacks. We've seen the Lalo, we've seen the Hogs and Miners, now we are seeing the Yeti Smash. Now a balance change has been announced, not live in game yet, so Sir Iron going to take advantage of that. The Grand Warden walk up to the north of the base can reach the Town Hall. However, it is going to take the Grand Warden quite some time before he reaches the Town Hall. And does Sir Iron want to commit the time? Already uses the 4 Earthquake spells to open up the gap for the Yeti to come straight in here. Very careful not to activate the Town Hall too early. Perhaps he's just making the funnel, because the Grand Warden is starting to walk, and I doubt he is going to get to the Town Hall despite the Grand Warden being able to reach it. So here we go. The King and the Siege Barracks used to cross to that left-hand side. The one thing you do not want to do with a Yeti Smash is fail your funnel. So Sir Iron makes sure of that, sends the Siege Barracks and the King, but it means he can direct the Hog Riders a little bit. However, guys, the P.E.K.K.A. and the Yeti have gone left. They're going into the center of the base, leaving the Town Hall. Now, this could mean that the Queen has to solo it. That is what is good about having the Queen at the back of the base. Being a ranged troop, she doesn't necessarily have to be in there with the Yeti. Queen is going to get that Town Hall. The Yeti and P.E.K.K.A. take a lot of damage, but they bust through the wall. The Grand Warden is about to go down, so the aura and the increased health is going to be gone. Heal spell on the Hog Rider will help them through the Multi-Inferno, but it's not looking good here. With a Tesla farm, a Scattershot, a Multi-Inferno, everything gets shredded to the ground, just not able to control the troops through the base appropriately here. And although he has the Royal Champion ability, I highly doubt that she is that good to get right of the way through the base. The cannon is going to go down here. The Royal Champion uses ability. You know it's close. It is close here, guys. If the Scattershot goes down, he might just get it. 50 seconds. And what do you know? I think he might get this. It could be a time fail due to the storages on the inside, but 40 seconds to P.E.K.K.A. with supporting wizards, a Yeti. We're looking close, guys. It's going to be super close. If only he had something to get in towards this Elixir Collector. I think that might be what costs him here. Sending everything to the Teslas. He just needs the defenses down. As the P.E.K.K.A. go, the wizards are vulnerable. And whilst there was a glimmer of hope for Sir Iron, it's not going to come through exactly how we thought. However, a very commendable and high percentage 2-star means that Team Queso, whilst they can think they have a good shot here at a 3-star, 96% certainly keeps them on their toes. And let's see what they can do. Tornado Trap pops at the end. Talking about variety of attacks, we now have the dragons. So we've seen 4 attacks, 4 different strategies, and that's personally what I love about the strategy in Clash of Clans, is seeing the variety and really specializing to the base. What do you prefer to see? What is your most enjoyable part of the game? But we have a straight up mass dragon, or dragloon almost, with the rage and freeze spells. Interesting approach here. You want to get good value from your heroes whenever you're doing this. So the king is primarily going to be used purely to set up pathing for the dragons. The sweepers both pointing into the center, but again grounded expos to try and defend the yeti and the current ground meta. Obviously miners doing incredibly well within this meta as well, so that's where we're seeing the ground expos. Interesting approach. I love the use of the scatter shot, both next to each other to try and sideswipe the ground troops. Will they be able to have effect on the dragons? The archer queen is going to take down the enemy archer queen, but 0 air defense down at the moment, which is not necessarily always what you want, especially when we have 2 ice golems for the dragons to get through. A big wide approach here from Hoozy. Then we have the slammer straight onto the air defense. The dragons will be able to get into the scatter shot relatively easily, but they're going to take a lot of damage. The Grand Warden's ability is used. He's going to have to freeze this area. He could freeze both scatter shot if he decides to try and keep them balloons alive. They are incredibly valuable in front of the dragons. Not going to worry. The freeze keeps them down. The dragons get raged above it, and what do you know? Before long, the air defense and the scatter shot are down, and Hoozy is powering his way down towards the back end of the base, getting through the defenses relatively quick here, spreading the defenses, spreading the spells right over the top of the base. The dragons power through, but this is where it now gets difficult to control their pathing. I love this. Beautiful job in watching where the dragons were going, which air defense they were going to get. They go to the left, so the royal champion comes in to the right, takes out that air defense. The single is being problematic. Oh, and he gets a little bit unfortunate with the ability not taking that down, but the dragon gets it on a side swipe, and with 50 seconds remaining, what do you know? GeorgeAW with a 3-star and a 96% 2-star. Fresh hits at Town Hall 13 find themselves trailing in this war. If this isn't the best display of Clash that you have seen, then I don't know what is, guys. It is another 3-star for Team Queso, powering their way into the lead. Well, we have another Lava Loon attack, but this one is the Queen Charge Lalo. We've seen Boom with the Sui Lalo smashing the base for the 3 stars. GeorgeAW perfectionists with this attack strategy. Can they get it to work? The Queen Charge tends to be the stronger variation at Town Hall 13, purely because you can get through the splash a little bit easier. Now, I do note the 2 ground expos as well, so they are going to come in range of the Queen a little bit easier and a little bit sooner. However, once we get through this initial area, the CC, Queen, Town Hall, and that scatter shot goes down. Do not be surprised to see that Lalo come in from 6 o'clock incredibly quick to protect the Queen, drive her through the middle, and try and just get the ground expos down ASAP. So we are looking at the wrong area of the screen, guys. I do apologize. The king creating the funnel down the bottom, which will force the Queen inside. Fantastic stuff. There is a lot of damage onto this Queen, despite her having to get through that meta CC. 3 ice golems certainly takes her a long time, and also while she is frozen, it means not only are you burning time, you're having to burn spells to get through that, but nonetheless, if she can get through this area, it will be very good value. And the Lalo now comes in from that 6 o'clock area behind the sweepers, more like the 8 o'clock, but we will see that spread from 6 as well to try and get to that eagle relatively quickly, help to protect our Queen and basically get them ground expos down. Stone Slammer slowly moving in and trying to just blend the Lalo together, but the Queen has gone down. That is huge in terms of this attack. Now, we still could be okay here because because we have the Grand Warden's ability, the Royal Champion, plenty of spells, but had that queen have stayed alive, we would have managed to get this done. Now, a beautiful thing here is at Town Hall 12, you always had to try and consider taking a wizard within your army composition to pull the healers across the map, try and tank multi-infernos, get any black bombs, but the Royal Champion does that in this case. However, it's just not going to happen for Ast here, struggling to get through these defenses because the queen never got the air sweeper. Had that have gone down and the queen continued to charge, this was a different strategy, but he could still get it. It's all about timing of the Grand Warden's ability. Once the loons come out of there, that Grand Warden's ability will be used. Where is it? There it is. They need to path to the multi, but they go around. Heartbreaking stuff. Oh my word. We have GeorgeAW very, very close again, but unfortunately they path around. Granted, that's why the base is set up, to try and not allow you to path straight to that multi, but if that queen stays alive, there's no doubt in my mind that this is a 3-star. Look at how close it was with 3 seconds. It's barely a time fail. 97. They improved the percentage, but it's still not enough. If Team Queso get this one, they are really in the driving seat. Let's very quickly have a look at percentage here. Wow, well, GeorgeAW, they are almost on point. 60% would be your perfect 3 stars. Let's see what Team Queso are going to do for their next attack. Well, we have one who did formerly win the World Championships with Nova, transferred across to Team Queso. We know how much of an expert he was, particularly with the E-Drags, but he's using the Yetis in this attack. Can we get a 3-star with the Yetis? And what is it going to be? So starting out with that Grand Warden walk, typical for this style of attack, you tend not to run out of time so long as you just spend maybe a minute tops on the Grand Warden walk, and it just sets up a perfect funnel. It's then so easy to pull the Grand Warden with the Yeti and with the P.E.K.K.A. So he's just taking his time here, taking out this top section. King is going to be deployed. Interesting approach here to just take out that top area with the wizard though. Then that is going to help the pathing of the king down to the bottom, and the Yeti then have a straight shot into the town hall, trying to get to that multi-inferno if possible, but he's getting close to the 1 minute mark here, and that is where this strategy will either fail if you mess up the funneling or you are not quick enough with the attack. So the Grand Warden was on the multi-inferno in fact, but one decided he just had to move on. He had to get the Yeti and P.E.K.K.A. in. I'm not sure what is going on with that ability. That could have been an auto ability and costing him there, especially moving into the town hall. Did he press it? Was it auto? I think it was actually an auto ability. The Grand Warden goes down. This is scary stuff for one, and it could open the doors for GeorgeAW to come back into this, especially with the town hall not being activated. The Yeti are moving into the base. The queen is going to be responsible for that, but he's not going to finish too much off here. It is going to be a low percentage comparing what we normally see in these styles of war. The 2-star is secured, so one can breathe a little bit easier, because granted, you do not want to get a 1-star. Things can change. In the war between EWU and Golden X, we seen a team that got a 1-star and then got 3 stars to win the war. It was epic, guys. Absolutely epic. But unfortunately for one, it is below the 70% mark. So in these styles of war, that is definitely not what is needed. Team Queso still ahead with the star, but 2 attacks left per team. Now GeorgeAW will be very happy that if they get a 3, they can drive themselves ahead on percentage. One can just let his archer do what it does best, sniping off the buildings, as he can drive this up to 71%, and every percentage could matter here, especially when we know the talent of these players. GeorgeAW will be clapping their hands. Despite being behind a star, they will know they've got a good possibility of getting that 3-star and putting themselves ahead in this war. Humble Luke coming in with the Yetis, going to show one exactly how it is done, and if a 3-star is secured here, GeorgeAW will skyrocket into the lead on percentage because they had that 96 and 97% attack, so they are still virtually on for the perfect in terms of percentage. Obviously they're not, but they're super close, not far behind that 100% total destruction. Again, Grand Warden Walk is typical for this style of attack. You're getting a free funnel. You don't really have to worry too much about time as long as you're not worrying too much in terms of the Grand Warden. That's where that 1 minute one just sent the rest of the troops in. Any longer than that, you've got to start worrying about time, guys, especially if your Yetis start getting thin. But the Grand Warden can set up multiple layers in terms of funneling as well. So once this Archer Tower goes down, doesn't look like the Warden wants to go there, but that is what one wants. Never mind, it's Humble Luke. What am I talking about? Never mind, just starts with the P.E.K.K.A. and the King, forgetting about that Archer Tower, but the funnel's created. The Archer Tower is nothing in essence. If it were a multi, it would be different. But in they come, straight into that Town Hall. You never want to miss the 1-star. I'm not sure what them wizards are about, just trying to get the Tesla, but clearly the wizards were going to go down. Now the Giga Bomb does indeed go off. Unfortunately, no Grand Warden's ability, but they weren't really needed because the Yeti were away from that area. Now this is interesting because everything is stalling up. They're all in one spot and the Yeti are getting blasted by the Eagle Artillery. Not ideal here for Humble Luke. He gets through this area, but there's not a lot left here. We've only got 3 to 4 Yetis in the center. One of them about to go down. They've slightly split, so the healers cannot stay within that pack. And unfortunately, with the scatter shot left and right, that's where we tend to see the Yeti getting blasted. If they can't get to both scatter shots and they are getting sideswiped at the same time, it's not as bad if they can hit one and then the other, but if you're entering into the middle of the base, you're going to be taking serious damage. So the Yeti do indeed take down the scatter shots in the center of the base, but with 3 Infernos left, it's not going to happen for Humble Luke. Unfortunate, driving the percentage higher than 1, and this means that GeorgeAW are still very much in this war. Despite being behind by a star, they maintain that percentage lead, and anything can happen. If they nick a 3-star at the end of this war, they might just leapfrog Team Queso and take the victory. We knew it was going to be end-to-end stuff. That's what I personally love in these wars, but it's really going to come down to the end here. Again, GeorgeAW with Humble Luke trying to drive up that percentage as high as possible. Still got a wizard, more than likely just going to be used onto the barracks, although granted, might not get it, but could reinforce onto the gold mine with the archers as he does, and it's going to be an 81%, so maintaining the lead in percentage, but behind by a star. Still anybody's war at this stage. Capita 99 using the hybrid Hog Riders and Miners. Now we've seen how successful this is. You guys know how successful it is, but look at this. With the battle blimp, which now activates the Town Hall, the Town Hall can be sniped. And despite letting the balloons go down, the clan castle exchange to take out the town hall is interesting, because with this style of attack, you either need to take out the town hall with your queen charge, or very early on with the hog riders and miners. You do not want to leave it for the last portion of the base. And look at this, 2 scatter shots in reach of that queen charge. So no wonder that Capita 99 wanted to come in from this area, going to get the CC troops and that of the ice golems down, but the queen's going to walk. She's going to go up to the north here. She might not turn around. She's not. She is gone. She has gone, and that is definitely not what he wanted. The king was placed at the top to try and create the funnel, drive the queen down to the scatter shot. So this is difficult, especially with the single target inferno. He's got to maybe send the hogs and miners in front of the queen to protect her. He does. Still got 1 freeze spell. Will he use it? Yes, he does. Hogs and miners then get to the single to protect the queen. She can loop back into the base, but it's going to be difficult with scatter shots. uses the Royal Champion's ability nice and early to try and just get as much damage as possible. Royal Champion can get through to take out the enemy queen. Miners would obviously do that as well, but the scatter shots help to wipe out the hogs in the center of the base. Miners going around the top. Nightmare for Team Queso. Once the queen walks, there isn't a lot he can do with this attack. If he wants to protect the queen, gotta send the hog riders and miners in front of that queen to try and maximize percentage, keep her alive. And that is one thing that you've got to say. When you are in this one format situation, if you recognize, and these top players do, that the 3-star is off the cards, you've got to adapt and you've got to just drive that percentage as high as possible. Forget about taking down all the defenses. Forget about that. Get the 2 stars, get the high percentage, and that is exactly what they've tried to do, although granted a low percentage as well. So with just one attack left, Team Queso still lead by a star, but trail on percentage. If J'Off get a 3-star and Team Queso do not, they will nick this from under Team Queso's feet. However, it is still anyone's game, and now we really have to see the best from either team. Here we go. The end of the war is nigh. J'Off ready to pounce with GeorgeAW, a man with bags and bags of experience. We know that he can do this, but can he do it under pressure, on the spot? Can they take down Team Queso and get another impressive victory in the EWU, driving their way through this tournament? Queen taking down the Royal Champion, getting very low on health, but managing to get through that, saving onto the ability. Nice job by GeorgeAW, and trying to sneak in these wall breakers as well as a brilliant touch. Another rage will be used to help out, I would assume, but no, he just wants to send all 3 in, get through that compartment. The queen has access. King on the outside will keep her on the center of the base, and this is a very good start to this attack, guys. Taking out the CC, wiping out an area of the base. We're going to get a scatter shot and the queen as well, and the hog riders can then probably come in from 12 o'clock if the queen is then safe to the town hall, but he's going to save onto that slammer, assumably, to then send into the town hall and help out. That would be my assumption looking at the attack at this point. Only a minute in, and GeorgeAW has got incredible value. The wall breakers have really set him up here, managing to save onto a spell slot, not using a jump, and that is where, if you can use wall breakers, you are all set. Healer's still inside the rage, but they have been targeted by the Eagle artillery, which is unfortunate. They are going to take huge damage here, and if they, oh no, they go down. Oh my word, I thought they would have a slither, but no. GeorgeAW has to just sacrifice the queen at this point, but granted, she gets the town hall, and for a charge, that is still huge value, and GeorgeAW couldn't have expected too much more than that. Interesting approach with the slammer. I might have came in from 9 o'clock, but that is more than likely no. Royal Champion is at the top, so that is interesting. I might have sent that slammer in across the side, but let's just see. He has taken too much of a battering here, and unfortunately, from an epic start, I didn't even see what happened to the hogs and miners. They just went down. The hogs, sorry, no miners in this one. Could still get it, guys. Could still get it. The hogs went down quick, but with that slammer, he's taken out all the important defenses, and it is going to happen. He's going to nick it because he still has the Grand Warden's ability used at the end. And with 30 seconds remaining, GeorgeAW is wiping out this base and putting Team Queso under pressure. You can get some hype out there because he's wiped it out. Minions in the center with the wizards means it's not going to be a time fail. Let's double check. It shouldn't be. It's going to be close with that clan castle, but the wizards, free of traps, will be able to take that out. And it's a 3-star for J'Off, which means they leapfrog on percentage, guys, and Team Queso can still get this, but they have to get a 3-star. Anything lower and they lose on percentage. What an epic moment we have here. It is Oski, the man himself. We've seen him in the World Championships in this situation needed a 3-star to win the war, and what do you know? He got it done on the big stage in Hamburg, so he can still do it now. It all comes down to this. In the EWU, both teams have won the first round matchup, so they will still have that match in the third round to try and qualify as the top 2 in their teams. 4 teams in each group. Top 2 progress. Obviously, if you win the first 2 matches, you're almost guaranteeing that progression in the tournament, and J'Off are one step closer with that last minute clutch 3-star. But here we go with Oski, a man of many talents. He has a variety of strategies, interesting approach with the healers to keep them right out of the way of that air defense, out of the way of the scatter shot. How is he going to pull this Grand Warden, and when? We're getting close to that minute. The King with the Ice Golem is going to be able to take down that bottom side, and we have this clear path now of the Yeti and P.E.K.K.A. He's a little bit slow here. Ooh, the Grand Warden, I thought, was going to jump that wall, and if he did that, he'd have been in range of a couple of defenses, and it could have been good night to this attack, but gets a little bit fortunate there. Didn't go over the wall. He's got to use this jump pretty quick, guys. He will be using it on the clan castle. He's just waiting, though. Where is the jump? Let's get it in, Oski. What's going on, my man? Get that jump spell in. There it goes, onto the clan castle, taking a lot of damage. Hog Rider's trying to support this area. He's got to get to the eagle and the 2 scatter shots pretty quickly. Grand Warden's ability has already gone down. Using the freeze onto the scatter shot, I might have tried to get that onto the eagle as well, but it does go down. Healer's getting battered by the multi. Royal Champion helps to take that down, which is huge, but it is getting demolished. All of the defenses in the center have wiped out the Yeti. I feel that jump spell could have been in a lot quicker, and wow, the Grand Warden, yep, did move away a little bit from the troops, and look at how close it is. Look at how close it is, guys. The Royal Champion goes down, which again is unfortunate. Oh my word. 46 seconds. No healers. Oh, the Queen's going to go here. She's going to go down, which means this Archer Tower will indeed go. The P.E.K.K.A. is at such little health that the Wizards will be exposed. A brilliant attempt by Oski, giving it what he had, really building the suspense until the end, but it's going to be the victory, and well deserved by J'Off. A 94% 2-star it is for Oscarvum at the end of this war, but it's not enough for Team CaseOr. They fall victim to J'Off, who take the lead right at the end on percentage, 94%, 12-12. GG to J'Off, GG to Team CaseOr as well for making this one of the most entertaining wars we've seen in the EWU, and thank you all for watching. That was incredible.